on Game Day is on the air.
Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Home Bank. Good for business, good for life.
It's time to talk LSU football on the flagship home of the Tigers. Call 225-499-9898. It's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Now, live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, here's Charles Hanagriff.
The Georgia Bulldogs secure the SEC championship with a 50-30 win over the LSU Tigers at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. Good evening, everybody. I'm Charles Hanagriff. Gordy Rush will be with us as soon as his postgame is done over at the stadium. He'll be with us. For the LSU Tigers, the season comes to a disappointing end, but it was a very good season overall. We'll talk a lot about big picture tonight, but we'll start by talking with the game itself. They got off to a very good start, actually, for LSU. The Tigers came out throwing the football as they needed to do. The Georgia Bulldogs have the top rush defense in the Southeastern Conference by a lot. Yards on the ground were going to be hard to come by. LSU knew that. They started the game by getting the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands very quickly. And on their first two drives, LSU actually had 6 first downs before Georgia was able to move the sticks. LSU got Georgia on a 3-and-out on their opening possession. But with 3:33 to go in the first quarter, the first big play of the game, and arguably the most important play of the entire game, happened when LSU, attempting a field goal, got it blocked. With the ball spinning pretty much dead stop near the 5-yard line, everybody kind of stood around thinking that the ball was dead. The ball was not dead. Georgia picked it up and went 95 yards for a touchdown. And the entire momentum that LSU had spent 12 minutes building completely went out the window. And you could kind of feel like it was a gut punch. And to be honest, though LSU would make some runs in this game, I'm not sure that they ever really recovered from that kick that ended up being 7 points for Georgia. It felt like they were chasing those 7 points the entire game. That had the kick been missed even, and it had been 0-0, certainly had he made the kick, the game would have had a pretty good feel going into the second quarter because LSU was playing pretty well. After that, the next Georgia drive was a harbinger for the rest of the night. Multiple first downs on strikes from Stetson Bennett to a handful of receivers, including the tight ends who had Brock Bowers finish the game with 81 yards receiving. Those plays that got Georgia down and put them in position to score again and really kind of seize the momentum of the game. LSU would answer. They would come back and get a touchdown on a long pass from Jaden Daniels to Keyshawn Boutte. Actually, it was not a very long pass. It was just a very long play that Boutte turned into a touchdown. But the second quarter was really LSU's undoing. Georgia scored on 3 consecutive drives to build what would be a 35-10 halftime lead. In the second half, LSU went to Garrett Nussmeier. And the youngster really did provide a spark to the LSU offense. One of the things that we know about Nussmeier is he is not afraid to put the ball up. He is not afraid to go down the field. And early on, he was making some big plays. Long passes to Malik Neighbors, to Jeray Jenkins, to Keyshawn Boutte, to Kyron Lacey. And the Tigers really got a spark from that in the third quarter. But by that point, there was nothing more that the LSU defense could do against the Georgia offense. They were simply, in my opinion, exhausted. And what I really think caught up with LSU's defense tonight is something that we saw a little bit 2 weeks ago and certainly saw last week against Texas A&M, which is this was a defense that I believe got tired. We talked about it a lot during the month of November, that LSU did not have much of a rotation on the defensive line, that the starters were playing nearly all of the snaps. And I think that really caught up with LSU in this ball game. Georgia runs the football very well besides that, and they would go for over 250 yards on the ground tonight against, again, what I thought was a tired LSU defense. The offense had their moments. Nussmeier, pretty much true to form, threw the ball down the field, made some big plays, also made some mistakes. LSU had a chance at one point in the second half. The one point I thought that they had a chance to really put a little bit of pressure on Georgia, get the ball inside the 1 yard line. They go for it on 4th and goal, and Josh Williams was stuffed. May I say for the 100 millionth time how much I hate the shotgun in that situation, because you're asking a back to go from a dead stop and basically you're going back 5 yards before you even get the football, and all you need is about 2 feet. And why LSU and other teams do not go under center in that situation is beyond me. Quarterback sneak is a perfectly acceptable play there. There's a story about George Hallis from way back with the Chicago Bears when one of his coaches, when he was the owner of the team, when one of the coaches handed the ball away on 4th down and 1 on 3 separate occasions and got stuffed all 3 times, and Hallis sent him 3 copies of a quarterback sneak. So I didn't like the call, but I've never liked the shotgun run in a goal line situation with less than a yard to go. So, that's maybe more for a philosophical debate about what exactly you want to do in those short yardage situations. But I hate the shotgun there. I think that it's worth the practice time that you put into it to go under center. And I realize they don't do it a whole lot, but to go under center in those short yardage situations, because inevitably they become the most important plays of the game. The good news is that LSU didn't quit. I guess the disappointing thing for me is you got a glimpse tonight of what the LSU offense might have been. And we talked about it all through August and into the beginning part of the season, that the playmakers for this team were not as much in the backfield as they were on the outside. And while Jaden Daniels gave them an opportunity because of his mobility early in the season when the offensive line was struggling, Brian Kelly basically had to plead with him to please throw the ball down the field and give these guys a chance to make a play. Daniels got better at it as the season went on, but he never really fully embraced it either. When you saw Nussmeier come in, he's throwing the ball down the field. He's giving his guys a chance to make a play. You see the receivers get engaged into the game, and I'm sorry, but I couldn't help but think, man, where was this, earlier in the season? Because even in a losing effort, you tattooed a Georgia defense that's a pretty doggone proud and stout unit for over 500 yards. Georgia hadn't given up 30 points to anybody. And even though Georgia had the lead, I'm not willing to say that, that these were garbage yards. No, LSU put some pressure on the Georgia defense with their playmakers on the outside. Hopefully moving forward, that will be more of the case. But at least for this season, it was a learning experience, and they didn't get as far along as you would have hoped. So those are my main takeaways from the game. A little bit of a disappointment that they were not able to kind of unleash this passing game earlier in the season. The short yardage situation, the special teams mishap that cost LSU a touchdown. And when they finish the season, whenever they finish the bowl game, and they go into a self-evaluation mode of everything that happened this season, special teams has got to be near or at the top of the list. Because quite frankly, the special teams for the entire season were pretty close to a disaster. And if you want to think back, we're going to take calls obviously tonight. You can name one. Other than the Ramos field goal at Florida, which was a 47-yard field goal, which was perfectly executed, and it put the game away. It was at a crucial time. I'm hard-pressed to name another special teams play that made a big impact in a positive way for LSU the entire season. I can name the negative plays until I miss my flight tomorrow morning. So that's something that's simply got to be fixed. And I know that the blame will be laid at the feet of Brian Polian, who's the special teams coordinator, and that is absolutely 100% correct. It's Brian Kelly because he's the head coach, but the special teams coordinator did a very poor job this year. LSU special teams never got into a position where they were able to make a positive impact. There were no block kicks. There were no long returns. The punt return game was absolutely non-existent. And quite frankly, every time LSU went into some kind of kicking formation, you had to hold your breath. Now, Bramblett had a pretty good year punting the football. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. But the number of positively impacted plays on a game for LSU special teams this year were almost non-existent. And it's something that they will have to really, really emphasize when they get into their off-season program to start next year, because they simply cannot have another season of that many special teams breakdowns. And it's got a nice roundness to it. The first game was cost them, the special teams cost them the game at the end, chance to get to overtime. If Georgia doesn't block that kick and return it for a touchdown, does LSU win? Probably not. Georgia was the better team. LSU was going to need some breaks to fall their way, and they just didn't get them. I mean, some of this was bad coaching. The special teams were bad coaching, but some of it was bad luck. The interception that went off of a player's helmet, you couldn't go out there and try to do that again. You couldn't go out and place that ball and bounce it on that helmet with nobody else on the field and have it bounce exactly like that again. So a little bit of bad luck to go along with some bad play. But give the Tigers credit. Again, they never stopped fighting in this game. They put up a lot of yards against a very good defense, and maybe some real positive things to build on as they get into bowl prep and then move on towards next year. The 2022 regular season now in the books, and I guess the one postseason game with one more to go, likely a Citrus Bowl berth against I was going to say Purdue, but Purdue is hanging in there with Michigan late in the first half as a 14-10 score. So we'll see who they end up with. But the positives for the season far, far, far outweigh the negatives, even though tonight was not the result that they wanted. Georgia wins the Southeastern Conference Championship by a score of 50-30. It was not the highest scoring SEC championship game of all time, but it was one of the top five. High scoring SEC championship game ever was Auburn and Missouri combined for 101 points back in 2013. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. We'll take your thoughts on tonight's ball game when we return. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility. Moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ATEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues here from the Big Kahuna in Atlanta. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30. Before we go to the phone lines, 499-9898 is the number. Let's hear from Brian Kelly. Following the game, this was the LSU coach on tonight's outcome.
Well, congratulations to Kirby Smart and University of Georgia on being the SEC champs. They were the better football team today. Proud of my team. Proud of the fight that they gave today. We were just a little short. Some key plays, obviously, in the game were, pivotal. Obviously, the special teams play early. Inability to get off the field on third down, fourth down, a couple of opportunities that we had to, convert. So in its totality, I mean, you're talking about 5 or 6 plays where, look, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? The best team won today, but I love the way our guys competed. They fought, and that's who they are. That's the identity of this team all year, and unfortunately, we were not clean enough in some of those areas against the #1 team in the country. And when you're playing the best team in the country for an SEC championship, those things are going to come back and affect the outcome. But as I told them in the locker room, we've got a great foundation. It's a young football team that will take this lesson and build off of it. And I'm so excited to have the opportunity to coach him.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. We start off with Joel in New Mexico. Joel, welcome into the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Joel.
Hey, a couple things for you, and I know you guys touched on it already, but the second series in the third quarter, you got a 6'2", 200-pound quarterback. Why are we going shotgun in that? Line them up and sneak it. And secondly, if Daniels does come back, who do you guys think? Are you giving Nuss the starting job next year, or are you going to just roll Daniels back in? Let's go, Brandon.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not giving the job to anybody. If Daniels is back in the spring, I would open the competition up. I think he did. I think he made a lot of positive plays this year. I think he made progress. I think he was better in November than he was in September, and you want to see all of those things. But there's certain limitations that he has, and they're not physical limitations. I don't think they're mental limitations. I think they're confidence related, and maybe that comes and maybe it doesn't. Nussmeier's numbers look, fantastic from this game. He threw for over, almost 300 yards. But Daniels threw for 208 in the first half before he had to leave. So I'm of the opinion that Jaden Daniels can become a down-the-field passer that you can make a lot of plays with, and then you keep the running dynamic, that run element, still in the game. I would open it up. And, in the spring, you can open this thing up to all three of the quarterbacks that are going to be on the roster. I would have a complete open competition. I don't think that anybody's got it. Now, my hope is that all three of those quarterbacks are there in the spring. I'm not looking to run anybody off or for anybody to leave. They might. Daniels has got a decision to make, and anybody can transfer at any time. We know that. But if it was me, I'd open this thing up in the spring. I wouldn't go in with any preconceived ideas or biases as much as we could, and just open up the competitions. May the best man win. Keaton in Birmingham is next. Keaton, welcome into the show.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, Keaton. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm proud of them boys. Them boys fought. They didn't give up. I agree with you about the quarterback competition in the spring, but my question is, what about in the bowl game? Who do you think should be the starting quarterback for the bowl? Because I want us to get this 10th win. I predicted 10-2 in the preseason. I was way off. I'm a firm believer that 10-4 would look and sound a whole lot better than 9-5 going into this 2023 season. Tell me what you think, sir.
If it was me, if Jaden Daniels is healthy enough to play, then I would start him. He's been the starting quarterback all year. He is a big part of the reason that you won the SEC West, that you beat teams like Auburn and Florida and Alabama, and that you played in this championship game. So for me, if he's healthy and he's ready to go, he would be my guy. I would have no problem if, for whatever reason, he is not able to go. And when Gordy gets here, we'll get a little bit of an update, because I think he's got some he'll have some information for us on what went down with Daniels tonight. But if he was a guy, I would go with him. Now, I'm not opposed to playing Garrett Nussmeier. For that matter, I'm not opposed to them having, during bowl competition, some reps with the first unit for Walker Howard. I mean, that's bowl practices are essentially a second spring. That's why it's so important when you're trying to build some continuity that you have those guys in there. So get everybody, get everybody some reps. Look, 10-4 sounds a lot better than 9-5. No problem there. But is that the most important thing? I would tell you that the most important thing is moving the program forward. And if that means getting some other guys some reps in the bowl prep with the first unit, that's fine. But to answer your question, if he's healthy, it would be Jaden Daniels for me. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break here at the Big Kahuna in Atlanta. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture,
by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta. Georgia beats LSU by a score of 50-30. Got a couple of halftime scores for you. The last two games that are on. Clemson is leading North Carolina 24-10. One of these days, coaches are going to figure out that the whole call timeout to ice the kicker actually does more to give the kicker time to get out there and get comfortable and get himself lined up, get himself in the right frame of mind rather than just rushing out there and having to go. But that day is not today. Clemson hits a field goal at the first half, gun 24-10. And Michigan and Purdue in a close game at the half. Michigan leads Purdue 14-13. Let's go back to the phone lines. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. Wayne is next. Wayne, welcome into the show.
Hi, Charles.
Hey, Wayne.
I want to say this, and I got a question. I want to say this, then I want a question I got to ask you. Yes, LSU is a young football team, and they lost a lot of players from the draft. But the question I got to ask you, Charles, are you there? Charles, are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Ask your question.
They're a young football team, and they're gonna be in the coming years. They're gonna make a lot of noise. But the question I got to ask you: what bowl do you think they're going to?
I think they're going to the Citrus Bowl, and if Purdue doesn't win this game against Michigan, I think that's who they're going to play, which is a January 2nd bowl, because January the 1st is on January 1st on a Sunday, so that's all for the NFL. So I think they're going to Citrus Bowl. I think that they will play Purdue. That is my. I know there was some speculation that if things fell a certain way, they could end up in the Las Vegas Bowl. I'm not going to 100% rule that out, but I've been told by some pretty good sources that is extremely, extremely unlikely. So. All right, Wayne. Thank you. The young football team, I don't know that that's exactly 100% true. I think that there are some positions. The offensive tackles are freshmen, the tight ends a freshman. You got one linebacker in Harold Perkins who is a freshman, but I don't know that you would consider this, if you look across the board, that this is a young football team. Jaden Daniels was the quarterback for most of the year. He's a fourth-year guy. Josh Williams was the starting running back for most of the season. He's a fourth-year guy. Keyshawn Boutte was the number one receiver going into the season. He was a third-year guy. On the interior, Charles Turner's a third-year guy. Anthony Bradford's a fourth-year guy. Miles Frazier was a full-time starter a year ago, so even though he's only a sophomore, he played a lot. B.J. Ojolari is a third-year guy. He's played a lot. Jaquilin Roy is a third-year guy. He's played a lot of football. Allegay's a fifth-year senior. Micah Baskerville's a fifth-year senior. Jay Ward is a senior. Jarek Bernard Converse was a senior. Greg Brooks was a starter. He's a senior. Joe Fouché was kind of a halfway starter. He was a senior. I don't know that I would classify this team as young. They were young at certain positions, but honestly, if you look 1 to 22 in the starters, I'm not sure they're not going to be younger next year than they were this year. There was a lot of experience. Now, if you want to say that this was a young team as far as the experience of playing for this coach or playing in his system, or for a lot of these guys playing at LSU, their experience came from somewhere else, I'll buy that. But overall, it wasn't an overly young football. The punter was a senior. I mean, there were a lot of seniors that played a lot of football, and I only bring that up because when they get to the spring, they're going to have to break in a lot of new personnel, and at least some of that personnel is going to, I'm certain as I can be, going to be coming from other colleges that, they're going to get into the transfer portal pretty good. Not as much as they did a year ago, but I think that they're going to get into that transfer portal pretty good, and you're going to see turnover. To say that a team is young is one of Coach's favorite cliches, okay? Oh, we're a young football team. This really wasn't a young football team. I think maybe the freshmen were somewhat high profile because they got it, the four of them got into the starting lineup so quick. And Perkins, who's an emerging star, although he faded in the last couple of games, he was not nearly the force that he was in October at the beginning of November. Teams, schematically, did some things that gave him some problems. And, of course, Taylor caught the game winner against Alabama. So that was, that was replayed all throughout the world forever. But overall, I didn't think so that they were that this was a young team. Jeremy is in Watson. Jeremy, welcome into the show.
Hey, Charles, how's it going, man?
Good, Jeremy.
So I'm thinking that we're losing a lot after what you just said. But my question was, the last couple of weeks, I've been really concerned with the way our defense couldn't get stopped. Is it lack of depth on the D line? Is it Matt House looking? For a reason, why do you think for the last 2 weeks we just kind of haven't been up to our standard? And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks. I definitely think that they wore down. When you look at the interior of the defensive line, Jaquelin Roy and Mekhi Wingo probably, I'm doing this out of my head. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm going to say in Southeastern Conference play, those two probably played somewhere between 85 and 90% of the defensive snaps. And Ali Gay and B.J. Ojulari probably played something similar, maybe a little bit different, because at times, you know, they would slide Perkins in there and they would move Ojulari over. But I would say they played at least 75 to 80% of the snaps. And I think that they got worn down. That defensive front, there was a play in the first quarter, and I'm watching the game. I'm sitting next to Jacob Hester, and Georgia brings 4 defensive linemen in. I mean, 4 fresh defensive linemen in for like a second down play. And I said to Hess, I said, you know, they just brought in more defensive linemen than LSU has. That wears on you after 13 games. I mean, it's a long season, and when you take that many reps, then it's a real haul. It's a real haul. So, no, I think it's absolutely the wear down factor. And look, Georgia's really good. And A-Chain last week ran like the A-Chain that was running early in the season when he was fresh. We thought he might be hurt, might be a little bit compromised last week, but that was not the case. If anything, the 2 weeks gave him a little bit of a break, and he was rejuvenated. And I think that those offensive linemen were motivated a week ago as well. And Georgia's just really, really good. So yes, I think that they got worn down. I'm a little bit bullish on Matt House. I think the guy's is a rising star. I think that his in-game adjustments were way more spot on than times that he missed. And I think he's versatile. I think he's going to be a head coach in the not-too-distant future, not maybe necessarily next year, but certainly not in the not-too-distant future. And they get a little bit more personnel. You start to be able to – I mean, they felt the loss of Mason Smith the whole year, whether it was evident or not or obvious or not. Think about where they would have been if Mekhi Wingo would have been the third tackle. I can't tell you what kind of a difference that would have made coming down the stretch. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break from the Big Kahuna in Atlanta. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana
98.1.
Gameday continues. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30, and they win the Southeastern Conference Championship, finished with a record of 13-0. LSU finishes conference play with a record of 6-3. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LeBarish hotline. Nathan is in Baton Rouge. Nathan, welcome into the show.
Hello, it's the Flaming Conservative.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I think the season turned out pretty good. And I've been listening for a little bit. The question that I had was what you were saying about depth. Do you think that this offseason depth is going to be addressed more through the transfer portal or with who we have on campus or bringing in? And is it something that we're going to see improvement on to where it needs to be for SEC play next year, or is it going to take another season or so, you think?
I would like to think that they are going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 82 to 84 scholarships, when they get to August next year. Nobody ever really gets in there at 85. You're somewhere between 80 and 85, and then you usually reward a couple of walk-ons. So I think that they were probably, in the month of November, my best guess is they were probably dressing somewhere in the 60s as far as scholarship players that were not, slated to redshirt. So I'd like to see them start, and I think they will start with probably somewhere between, let's say, 80 to 84 scholarship players when they get to August. Shea Dixon, who I trust on recruiting, all matters recruiting, tells me that they will probably sign 25 to 27 high school players of that group. Maybe, let's say, as many as, 6 will play. And then I think your transfer number portal number will probably be, and again, this is a guess, but my guess is it's probably going to be somewhere between 8 and 10. So whether the depth will come from the transfer portal, the recruiting class, or on campus is really a position-by-position thing. If you're talking about the defensive line, I think that number is going to, the depth part of it is probably going to come from the transfer portal. I think they're looking for an edge rusher. I know that they're very high on Savion Jones. I know that they are very high on Quincy Wiggins. I would expect both of those guys to play a lot next year. And then you're going to have Mason Smith coming back. So that's 3 guys right there. But I do expect that they're going to try to add at least one edge rusher out of the transfer portal they think can come in and play significant snaps. If you're talking about in the secondary, I think at corner, that is probably, no, not probably, it is the number one area that they will target in the transfer portal is at corner, much like it was this year. So I would say that the depth there is going to come almost entirely from the transfer portal. Now, when you get to the offensive line, I think that there's a better chance that the depth comes from the players that are on campus right now. So you've got your two starting tackles, and I expect a pretty spirited competition between Marlon Martinez and Charles Turner for that starting center spot next year. And whoever doesn't get, especially if Martinez wins that job next year, you're talking about this year's starting center potentially being a backup on next year's team. They want to get bigger there. It's no knock on Turner, but he got roughed up pretty good tonight. The interior defensive lineman for Georgia had him by somewhere around 30, 35 pounds, and he got muscled a little bit. I mean, it's not his fault. He doesn't weigh 330 pounds. Martinez does. And you saw when he played 2 weeks ago, Brian Kelly came out and said, hey, man, did you see Marlon Martinez? Turner's going to get back to practice on Monday. So there's no doubt in my mind that they want to get bigger on that interior. But both of those guys are on the team. Garrett Dellinger started the season as one of their 5 best offensive linemen. He was playing out of position at center. When he went to guard, I see a very promising young player there. Never was able to wrestle that job back from either Bradford or from Miles Frazier. But all of those guys are going to be back. And so, again, open up the competition and may the best person win. I don't know if, say Xavier Hill is, maybe potentially going to be in the transfer portal, but if he's not, that's another guy. It's his 4th year. Dummerville's a 4th-year guy. If he is back, that's some more depth there. So on the offensive line, I think your depth is already on campus and already on the team. At running back, I'm expecting all of that to come from the recruiting class, and I would say maybe one transfer. The wide receivers, I think all of that depth is currently on campus. You're going to lose, Jeray Jenkins, who's a senior, and you're going to lose Boutte to the draft, but everybody else is back. So I think that you've got your guys on campus there. So it's really kind of a position by position deal, whether or not whether you're talking about where the depth is coming from next year. Jonathan is in Baton Rouge. Jonathan, welcome into the show.
Yes, sir. I got 2 things I want to say. Look, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. These special teams, they hurt LSU all year. And and what I think today, they was all in the game until that block punt. And the guy ran the ball back. What do you think about that?
I think LSU special teams were atrocious for the entire season. I can count the major positive plays on probably 1 or 2 fingers that they had all year. I can count the disastrous plays. I'd have to take my shoes and socks off and count all my fingers and all my toes, and I'd probably run out. I'd probably have to, count on somebody else's hands and toes too, because it was awful. They got nothing out of the return game the whole year, nothing. It's a big deal.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna let you. And I'm gonna go. Listen.
Okay.
Now, I think that you mentioned that we're going to have all these guys coming back and we're going to be pretty well situated in playoffs. What is Kelly going to do about some coach change?
Well, there's going to be changes on the coaching staff, and the only reason I say that is there's changes on the coaching staff every year. I haven't covered the team a single year through half a dozen head coaches that they had the same exact staff from one year to the next. Now, who might be leaving, where they might be going, and who would be coming in to replace them, I'm not ready to answer that. But as sure as the sun rises in the east, there's turnover on your staff with your assistants every year. And I'm not, saying he's going to fire somebody. Guys get jobs that, get promotions. They go to another coach that they have worked with before. They go back to a part of the country that they are more comfortable in. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why that are not just you go in and fire. Look, I'm not oblivious to the situation. 19 people stopped me on the way from the Dome to here to tell me to fire Brian Polian. Well, okay, first of all, I don't think that they're going to do that, but they got to do something to fit. Put it this way, I don't know that they're going to necessarily make a move with him, but they got to do something to address the special teams, whether there's a reassignment or whatever. But that's Brian Kelly's call. Do I think that there's going to be some turnover? Absolutely, because there's turnover every year, and they got to fix the special teams, whether that's with Polian or somebody else. That's up to the head coach to decide. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break and be back here at the Big Kahuna in Atlanta. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues from the Big Kahuna downtown Atlanta. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30. Swiss is in LaPlace. Swiss, welcome into the show.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Swiss.
I want to congratulate Coach Brian Kelly on a great season this year. He brought discipline back to the team. He brought pride back, and he's going to be there a long time. And we're going to see a lot of championships from this guy.
Swiss, thanks for the call.
Brian Kelly is the second coming of Nick Saban.
Well, listen, I certainly hope so. I think the guy did a phenomenal job this year. There were a lot of things that he had to replace, and it wasn't players, coaches, support staff. There's probably upwards of 60, 70 people that work in that building that are not on-field coaches. And he replaced almost all of them. With the exception of the equipment staff and the video staff, pretty much everybody else in that building is new. And it's a big operation, and when you're trying to break everybody in at the same time, and everybody's got to get used to each other, and you've got to implement the way you want things done, your culture. It doesn't happen overnight, and I think he did a phenomenal job with that. I think he got more and more comfortable as the season went along. I think everything got better, okay? Well, except for the special teams. But everything else got better as the season went along. I thought the offense was better. I thought the defense was better. There were breakdowns, to be sure, but I thought everything moved along better than it did at the beginning of the season. And, frankly, I'll be disappointed if you don't see them take another step forward next year. And listen, maybe they don't get the right bounce next year. Maybe a 10-2 season in the regular season next year doesn't include a trip to Atlanta. Maybe somebody else in the division goes 8-0 and you go 7-1. But the one loss was the one that kept you out of Atlanta. But that would still be considered a move forward. The overall roster balancing. He takes a step forward in recruiting. This is a pretty good recruiting class. I would like, and I think he would like, them to become more and more recruiting dependent and less transfer portal dependent as the years go on. Georgia, the transfer portal is a wonderful thing, but in a lot of cases it can be a wonderful thing, but in a lot of cases it's a quick fix. And everybody that's in that transfer portal is there for a reason. Now, maybe that reason is because there was just somebody better in front of them at some other place. But I'm here to tell you, in a lot of those cases, it's because they weren't good enough. And so you got to be careful. You don't want to get into a situation. It's kind of like junior college players. You want to get, a couple, but you don't want to ever become dependent on junior college recruiting. It's kind of a little bit of a dated concept now. But the transfer portal is the same way. He took 18 last year. He'd probably take about half that this year. I don't think he wants to take that many any year. Georgia took none. Clemson took none. Those programs had enough depth, they had enough quality, and they didn't have to go for what again I would tell you in a lot of cases is a quick fix. Now that's not to say that you can't get good transfers in there. Joe Burrow was a transfer. I get it, but overall, you would rather be recruiting dependent, and I think he will be. So those kind of things bring stability to your program. When I was going through that depth list, segment back, they would rather every position be replenished by the people that are already on campus. They're already in your locker room. They're already in your system. They know how you want things done. They know the concepts that you're teaching. They know what's expected of them. If you bring somebody in from the transfer portal, they got to start from scratch with this staff. So I do think that it's a bright future. And got a chance to visit with a lot of regional and national media while we were here. Frankly, that's going to be the expectation for LSU's program pretty much across the board. everybody that there was literally nobody that I talked to that said, man, LSU hired a dud. This is a mirage what they did this year. He got lucky. Nobody thinks this was luck. Nobody thinks this was anything other than the first step towards building the program in the manner that has led him to success everywhere that he's been. Carla is in Watson. Carla, welcome into the show.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Carla.
First question, you already answered the second one. What you thought about Garrett Nussmeier tonight?
I thought Garrett Nussmeier.
And the second was, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead and ask your question.
Or are you proud of LSU, which you already stated?
Okay. Yes, I thought that was a good effort tonight. I thought they made some mistakes, and they played against a team that is better and deeper than them. But the effort was there. They played. They showed a lot of heart. They were outmanned tonight, and sometimes this happens. Listen, there were some similarities in this game with the roles reversed from 2019. Georgia in 2019 was no match for LSU. LSU put a beat down on them, and if they had played 10 times that year, LSU would have beat them, in my opinion, at least 9, and maybe all 10. And unfortunately, I got to tell you that the roles are reversed here. If these two teams played the next 10 weeks in a row, I think Georgia would win probably 9, maybe 10. They're that much better than LSU. But the heart that they showed a lot of heart. They didn't quit. Those are things that you can build on. Garrett Nussmeier gave you a glimpse. I said this at the top of the show. He gave you a glimpse into what the LSU offense, I think what Brian Kelly was trying to get them to do, that you would see some glimpses from it with Jaden Daniels, but never as consistently as I think the coaching staff wanted. They wanted the ball in the hands of the playmakers. The big-time talented playmakers on this team were not in the backfield. They were on the perimeter. And, tonight Malik Neighbors had 5 catches. Keyshawn Boutte had 6 catches. Jeray Jenkins had 3 catches, but, for 72 yards. Lacey and Besh had, 40 yards apiece. Brian Thomas had a couple of catches, for 24 yards. That's where they wanted the ball to go. And they wanted to pressure defenses down the field. And sometimes Daniels would do it, but a lot of times he was hesitant. He wasn't aggressive enough. And I think that's, what this was sort of what they wanted the offense to look like with Daniels quarterbacking it, plus his ability to run the football and put pressure on the defense that way. This is not a knock on Daniels, anything other than what we've said all season and what the coaches said all season, which is, hey, turn it loose. Throw the football down the field. You throw an interception, bummer. We'll come back and get them the next time, because you're going to have more big plays than you have bad plays because of the talent that you've got on the outside. I had a question earlier about, what do you do, with your starting quarterback? I open the competition in the spring. Nobody goes in with, anything other than the experience that you have, but no preconceived ideas that this guy's got to start for sure. Not that they went in with that last year, but, they were bringing in a quarterback from the outside. This year, they may add a transfer quarterback if one of these guys transfers out, or if Daniels decides to move on and put his name in the draft. But other than that, if these 3 guys are back in the spring, I throw the doors open and say, here's the ball. May the best man win. Go play. That's what I would do. Not necessarily for the bowl game, but in the spring. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break and be back with more from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Stat Check. Presented by Luba. Luba, genuine dependability.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues from downtown Atlanta. The Big Kahuna. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30. Here is your final stat line. Georgia, 27 first downs. LSU, 23 first downs tonight. LSU actually outgained Georgia tonight, 549 to 529. Passing yards, LSU 502 yards. Georgia 274 yards. Rushing totals, 47 yards for LSU, 255 for Georgia, 2.4 yards per rush for LSU, and 5.8 yards per rush for Georgia. And that, as good as the passing total was, the rushing total was actually even worse. 47 yards, which is what LSU ended up with, was the exact number that Josh Williams broke off the one run that LSU made the entire night. They did gain some other yards. Noah Cain had 7 yards, I think, and John Emery had a couple. But when you take away the sack yardage, that was a wash. So you were left with the 47. You were left with the 47 yard. This 47 yard total. Third down efficiency. LSU only 4 out of 13. Georgia 7 out of 13. Tigers made 1 out of 2 on fourth down. Only 3 penalties tonight on LSU for 24 yards. Only 4 on Georgia for 33 yards. LSU turned the ball over 3 times. They lost a fumble and threw 2 interceptions, one of which was one of the more bizarre plays that you will ever see off of the helmet and bouncing straight up. And Georgia turned the ball over 1 time tonight, 1 fumble lost. Georgia had the ball for 35 minutes and 58 seconds. LSU hit it for 24:02. Your individual, that's your team totals. Individually, Nussmeier was 15 of 27,
294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jaden Daniels, 16 of 24, 208 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Stetson Bennett was 23 of 29, 274 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and no interceptions. Josh Williams, LSU's leading rusher tonight, 6 carries for 55 yards. Noah Cain, 3 for 7, and a touchdown. John Emery, 4 carries for 4 yards. Kendall Milton, 8 carries for 113 yards for Georgia. DeJuan Edwards, 12 for 77. Kenny McIntosh, 14 carries for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Branson Robinson, 5 carries for 20 yards. Receiving, Malik Neighbors, 5 catches for 128 yards and a touchdown. Keyshawn Butte, 6 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown. 53-yard touchdown catch involved in that. Jeray Jenkins, 3 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Mason Taylor, 6 catches for 63 yards. Jack Besh, 2 for 43. Kyron Lacey, 3 for 43. And Brian Thomas with 2 catches for 24. Josh Williams with 3 for 19. Brock Bowers led the way with 6 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown for Georgia. Ladd McConkey, 5 for 69 and a touchdown. Tonight on defense, Harold Perkins, 10 total tackles tonight, 8 solos, 1.5 for loss. Micah Baskerville with 9 total, 6 solos and a half a tackle for loss. Major Burns, 8, 7 solos and a half a tackle for loss. Javon Bullard and Smail Morton both led the way for Georgia with 6 tackles apiece. Punting tonight, Jay Bramlett, 4 punts for 43 yards. 1 of those landed inside the 20. And Brett Thorson, 4 punts for a 51.8-yard average and 3 inside the 20, as Georgia also controlled field position for a lot of the night. And those are your stats. Final scoreboard when we come back, plus a major move in the coaching ranks in college football. We'll tell you about that when we return. Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Eagle 98.1. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln, on air line under the giant American flag.
All right, we start off with the two games in progress. Big Ten Championship game number 2. Michigan has put 2 quick scores on the board to begin the second half. They now lead Purdue 28-13. Michigan looking for the Donovan Edwards 128 yards and a touchdown for the Wolverines. ACC Championship game, number 9 Clemson leads number 23 North Carolina 32-10. About 4 minutes to go in the third quarter there. North Carolina was driving inside the 15-yard line, threw an interception that was run back for a touchdown to give Clemson the margin right now. Earlier finals today, number 10 Kansas State beat number 3 TCU 31-28. That was in overtime. Deuce Vaughn 130 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Number 18 Tulane beat number 22 UCF 45-28. Wave's first conference championship since 1998. They'll be going to the Cotton Bowl. It'll be their best bowl game since 1939. What an afternoon, or what a night from Michael Pratt. He threw for 394 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Wave. They stormed the field. It was quite the scene at Yeoman Stadium. MAC Championship, Toledo beat Ohio 17-7. Sun Belt Championship, Troy beat Coastal Carolina 45-26. This was a 31-7 game at the half. Coastal Carolina really faded down the stretch without Grayson McCall, but the defense also faded down the stretch. Fresno State beat Boise State 28-16 in the Mountain West Championship, and one non-conference game, or one non-championship game. New Mexico State beat Valparaiso 65-40. 3. Last night it was number 11 Utah beating number 4 USC 47-24. Caleb Williams threw for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns, but pulled a hamstring and was ineffective in the second half. Buffalo beat Akron 23-22, and UTSA beat North Texas 48-27, and that is your college football scoreboard. Ben Mintz joins me right here. Mincy, what your thoughts before we get to some of these other games on what happened at the Mercedes-Benz Dome tonight?
Man, so a few key plays I thought for LSU. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know the game started out slow. Both those teams kind of have started slow during the year. And that long drive, LSU gets it down to the 4, and then the field goal that gets blocked. And you got to give the Georgia guy credit. He acted like he was down in it, like there was nothing to see there, and takes it back for a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing. And then LSU throws the pick off the guy's helmet on the fluke play. And, you're looking at a 35-10 halftime score that, look, Georgia would have been winning the game, but I really think you could say 17-point swing off those 2 plays, and then it kind of just got real wild and out of hand. I thought Nussmeier played well. I thought LSU's offense may have not finished some drives, but overall, the offense didn't play bad, I didn't think. But
what would you have said this morning when if I'd have told you before the game that LSU was going to throw for 500 yards on Georgia?
No, I definitely wouldn't have thought that. It's weird, college football, sometimes these games in these domes just get real wild. And like the Bama-Georgia SEC championship was 41-24 between 2 great defenses last year, and Bryce Young threw for 400-some yards. And maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but it couldn't have been me that took the first half under of the game under today, and 80 points were scored.
Well, yeah, sometimes it falls that way. For the season, though, this way more good than bad for Brian Kelly in year 1.
I mean, of course, he beat out the Alabama win was 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule just by itself. For the year, look, I thought LSU was going to be good. I said 8-4. I knew Kelly. I mean, you look at everywhere he's been, and he's won. But, I remember I was with y'all at the Texas Bowl in January. LSU dressed out 37 players.
39.
What? Yeah, they're talking about playing for an SEC championship and the way they bounced back after the Tennessee loss. Overall, a spectacular first year. Just even playing Atlanta. And, obviously the last 2 weeks didn't end the way you wanted to. Thought, got to give Daniels credit. He played his heart out on the ankle, and I thought Nussmeier played well second half. The offense played well, but the game got away from him for sure.
Big 12 championship game was supposed to be the game of the day, and it was a fabulous game. In overtime, Kansas State got the win, TCU's first loss of the season. Here's what disappointed me about it, and I'm not saying this just because I picked TCU. They played 3rd and 4th and goal from inside one of them from inside the 2, the other one from inside the 1, and they got stuffed going right up the middle both times. I don't have a problem with that. I did have a problem with TCU trying to pull a lineman on the 4th down play. I couldn't believe that they did that. You never pull a lineman in short quarters like that, and that's what led the play to get stuffed. And then Kansas State, all they had to do was kick the field goal. So other than that, I thought that was a really well-played game. 2 well-coached teams. I couldn't believe that Sonny Dykes pulled a lineman on that 4th and goal play.
That's wild. I don't know that I've ever even heard a story like that in short yardage.
I've seen it a few times. It's just such a bad because everybody's crowded up in there, and they're going to have penetration. You saw what the scene was at Tulane. Yeah. What a week for the Wave. To go to Cincinnati and win there, which is not an easy, not an easy
first
ask.
loss Cincinnati, a 32-game home winning streak.
And then you hold off a Power 5 team coming after your coach and Willie Fritz and Georgia Tech. Then you win. Well, then you have the rankings fall right for you on Tuesday night so that you are the highest-ranked Group of 5 team if you win this weekend. And you win, you get the conference championship, your first since '98, and you're going to the Cotton Bowl, biggest bowl game since the 30s. Man, this is – I can't think of a better week in Tulane football history.
Yeah, I guess the only one you can think of is 97-98 when they went undefeated with Bowden with Sean King. But now the thing I mentioned to you off the air was, for our whole lives, Tulane would play in that Superdome, and you're a private school playing in that cavernous dome, and they made that huge investment in Ullman and put a lot of money into it and created, it's a smaller stadium, but it's a private school, but it's their thing, and they've got an on-campus stadium. To see that scene there today and them, rushing the field after it, just kind of, I don't know, it was just a really cool thing to see.
The Superdome is historic and iconic a building as it is, frankly, is a lousy home field advantage for a college team. You know,
You can't put more than 15, 20,000, 30,000, you know.
and the dome swallows that up.
Yeah.
Even 30 or 40,000, the dome swallows that up. But at Yulman, it feels like it's a packed house. The other thing is, it's really hard to create, you know, a tailgating atmosphere and all the things that you associate with a college campus in the Superdome. It's a pro stadium, and I thought that the move to build Yulman was a huge deal. Now, did I know that it was going to work this well? I didn't, but that was quite a scene today.
Yeah,
tonight.
Happy for him. Pratt, 394 yards. Freaking the running back's ridiculous. He had 210 against Cincinnati, 199 tonight. And they went through what 2 games last year? They were like 2-10 or 3-9.
They were 2-10,
but they lost a ton of close games.
Yeah, they are. I think they put the stat up. The 6th team. There's only 6 teams in the history of college football that went from losing 10 games in a season to winning 10 games the next season. Navy did it, I think, 3 years ago, but it's rare. It's only happened a handful of times. So give Willie Fritz and his group credit. That was a heck of a thing today. So moving. These games going on right now that we're watching. Clemson, the pick six seems to have really taken all of the wind out of the sails of North Carolina. If they had scored there, Ben, I think that we'd have had a ball game going in the fourth quarter. Now Clemson's up 22. They're going to work on the clock a little bit, and you compared North Carolina a little bit to Ole Miss in that they'll put up some offensive numbers, but when they run up against a really good defense,
sometimes they struggle. Yeah, well, and my thing, and it's actually ironic, is North Carolina's OC is Phil Longo, who was Ole Miss's OC
That's right, yeah.
during the not using DK Metcalf, AJ Brown era, but or using them well. But
are those guys doing well in the pros?
Just doing okay. But the Drake May had such a spectacular 9 or 10 weeks. People were saying he was top 3 or 5 for the Heisman. Last 3 weeks, gets shut down by Georgia Tech, NC State last week. Now this, and it just seems like they've kind of hit a wall.
And Michigan, the tight first half. They come out, they get a couple of quick scores here in the third quarter. They're up 15 now on Purdue about halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, you got to give Michigan credit. This is Purdue. Jeff Brom's one of the best underdog coaches in the country. I mean, he's knocked down some at Purdue. I mean, he's won some big ones. And, Purdue was a pretty solid underdog tonight. They came out. They were up early. I believe they're up 10-7. And Michigan's made some good adjustments. It's 14-13 at half. It seems like Michigan's figured some stuff out. And I think the biggest thing with Michigan, everybody was talking Blake Corum for Heisman 2 weeks ago. Edwards had 220 against Ohio State. That's like 150 tonight. Their offensive lines probably might deserve a few things.
Well, when they put the starting lineups up, they noted which one of the players had made the all-conference team in the Big Ten, and 4 of Michigan's offensive linemen made all Big Ten, either first or second team. So it definitely shows there. The coaching news is that Deion Sanders has taken the Colorado job. What do you think?
Look, I love it. You look at like where Colorado is, and you look at their history too. Remember back when they were awesome back in the 80s and 90s, they were getting Louisiana kids up there. They were
Cordell Stewart, is the most prominent one.
But they were like doing stuff like that because Colorado, there's no good high school football there. So you need to be able to, have coaches that have ties that can bring in talent. And you're talking about a rudderless program. They lost about 40 every game this year. And you instantly, when you get Deion Sanders, you're getting a brand, you're getting eyeballs, you're going to sell just heaps of tickets and be on TV more and everything that goes with that. But he's also going to bring a bunch of these his son and a bunch of these Jackson State kids that, they're going to help that Colorado roster, considering what I saw them have out there this year. And so I think it's fascinating, and I can't wait to follow it.
I wonder what the potential of the Colorado program is. I remember the same thing you did when
Rashawn Salam and Westbrook.
Yeah, when Bill McCartney was there, and they were in New Year's Day bowls, and they were winning 10, 11 games a year. I remember very well that when McCartney retired was the same year that LSU hired Jerry DiNardo, who had spent a little bit of time in Colorado. And because the Colorado job came up at the same time as the LSU job, people were asking, which is the better job? And I ruffled a few feathers when I said, now this is 1995, Colorado job was better. At that time,
for sure.
At that time, it was a better job. They had won double-digit games multiple seasons. They had
split a national title.
Yeah, split a national title. It was the better job at the time, but they've never, in my opinion, never really recovered from the Gary Barnett scandal. It was an awful situation with what went on there off the field. And, I think they've gone through 6 coaches since he left. And they've had one winning season since Gary Barnett left there in 2005.
Wow.
That was the Mike McIntyre Coach of the Year. And then he went from Coach of the Year to being fired 2 years later. But that's the only winning season they've had since Barnett left. And I never really felt like they fully recovered from that scandal. But the other part is, what kind of resources are they going to pump into the program? What kind of budget are they going to give Deion for staff, for facilities, and most importantly, I guess right now, for NIL? What kind of backing do you have there for him? What kind of resources? What kind of hand is he going to be dealt?
I feel like he wouldn't have gone there if they didn't promise him something with the other offers he had.
Sure, and he is. I would imagine is going to be a powerful fundraiser at the school. That his name recognition will up donations considerably. Will it be enough? I don't know, but it's going to be fun to watch.
No, for sure. It's fascinating. It'll sell a lot of tickets.
Yes, absolutely it will. Have a safe trip back. We're going to wrap this up when we come back, and we'll be heading back to Baton Rouge. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution. A network built for every possibility. Moving faster than ever before. Streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Game balls. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team. WCK Foundation Repair.
All right, since I'm making the rules up as I go here for game balls sometimes, I'm going to go with 2 players on offense because I looked on defense. I really did. But you give up over 500 yards of total offense. You don't have a sack. You don't cause a turnover. I gave up, and I wanted to give 2 game balls out on offense anyway. So first one, Kayshon Boutte. 6 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown tonight. The big play early kind of got LSU some positive momentum after that. This absolute gut punch with the field goal return. It's been a rough season for Boutte, but he's hung in there. I think a lot of people would have thought maybe he would have opted out at some point. He did not. He stayed the course, and he had a big night tonight. No, it wasn't overall the season that he was hoping for, but he had a big night tonight. And then the other one was Garrett Nussmeier, 15 to 27, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Very difficult position for him to come in tonight. With LSU down 35-10, and he played true to his form. The scouting report on Nussmeier is he's fearless. He's going to push the ball down the field. He's going to make some big plays. Going to make some mistakes. Well, all of that scouting report right down the middle on him, and thought he played with a lot of heart tonight. So my 2 game balls go to Kayshon Boutte and Garrett Nussmeier. Georgia wins it by a score of 50-30. We're back to wrap things up here when we return from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day, winding it up here from Atlanta. I want to say thanks to the ownership here at the Big Kahuna and their whole staff for making us feel very welcome, and thanks to all of the fans that came out here. The place was hopping here for the last few days, so thank you to the Big Kahuna staff and ownership, and thanks to everybody who came out here and watched the shows and participated and watched the games here at the Big Kahuna. Want to also thank our staff, Michael back in the studio, Bo and Danny here for doing a great job with setup and all of the things that you don't see on the air or don't hear on the air. They're responsible for a lot of the hard work that goes into it. So thank you to them. Thanks to Matt Moscona for getting us a better flight tomorrow. So we appreciate Matt as always. He just does a phenomenal job. He's got a future as a travel agent. Disappointing outcome for LSU tonight, but a terrific overall first season for Brian Kelly as they head into the bowl game, and with Citrus against Purdue is the most likely, but we'll find out all of that tomorrow. The playoff bracket will be set tomorrow as well, so we'll talk about all of that on Monday when we get back to Baton Rouge. Final score once again: Georgia 50 and LSU 30. The Bulldogs win the 2022 Southeastern Conference regular season championship. From all of us here in Atlanta, everybody back at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good evening. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.